And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the WrestlePurists. I was going to say WrestlePurists podcast. Sorry, WrestlePurists Worldwide. that's how cooked I am. But ladies and gentlemen, it's WrestlePurists Worldwide. It's another Monday evening here, and as usual, I'm joined by Monty and Anna, our new co-host. I'm your host, Ibu of WrestlePurists, better known to many of you guys as Backup Hangman. And we're going to get into a fun weekend of professional wrestling. A lot of things have happened. A lot of cool little shows and whatnot. Big developments happening for AEW's upcoming Wembley show and SummerSlam. ROH had Death Before Dishonor on Friday, which was very, very, very well received. And we'll get into that. And we'll talk about that show. We'll look ahead to SummerSlam. And Monty will be the one to catch us up on some of the other extra things that have happened in pro wrestling because he's our Mike Tenay. He's the graphs expert. He's the one who was.
Bro, I haven't even gone above and beyond and watched all the obscure weird stuff, bro. It's just that Ibu doesn't watch wrestling. He just fakes it, and this is what happens.
It's usually the other way around. Usually I watch everything, and Monty kind of just sits there and is like, But this week, I decided to have a life. I decided to have a life this week, and I don't know if you've noticed this, Anna, but like sometimes when you have a life, like it doesn't mix well with watching wrestling. You know what I mean?
No.
You get home and then you're like, oh shit, I just missed a bunch of wrestling.
No, and the thing is, like, you have a life the whole day, and then you get home and you open Twitter and you're like, oh, Oedo Tai doesn't exist anymore. I guess I'm not watching that show.
The funny thing is when and people don't mean this negatively at all. Like it's always in good faith, right? But like when I get home and I'll make a post about something I see, and people are like, you gotta watch match A, B, and C, and I'm like, bro, I still haven't seen the first 3 other matches of like another thing, like people are telling me to like check out like Julius Creed's match from Bloodsport. I'm like, brother, I didn't even watch ROH. Like, but nevertheless, it's WrestlePurists Worldwide, guys. Ibu WrestlePurists, Anna of WrestlePurists, and Montel of WrestlePurists here. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe if you have not already, and make sure to send us some super chats. Talk about your favorite things of the weekend. Talk about the things you're looking forward to, looking ahead to the weekend, so on and so forth. Make sure to get that in. We'll talk about all of that. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to check in with Monty. How are you feeling this weekend? What you been up to? How are you?
I've watched a lot of wrestling, so unfortunately, I obviously don't have a life. Because I've watched a lot of wrestling. Like I said, I haven't watched all the obscure stuff. Like I haven't watched I believe it was the TJPW Tokyo Princess Cups just kicked off, so I didn't watch any of that. I haven't watched any of the Stardom shows over the weekend, but I've watched a bit of the G1. I watched Bloodsport. I watched ROH, SmackDown, Collision.
Look at you, Monty the wrestling fan.
There's a lot,
Monty the wrestling fan. How about you, Anna? What's going on with you?
Yes. Good. I don't know if you guys noticed a different scenario today. I'm in a hotel room, but I'm here.
She's being held hostage. She's just trying to play it off. Yeah.
Ibo is keeping me here to do the podcast every week. Sitting me down. He's forcing me to watch FTR matches.
Yes, exactly. You had to catch up with their entire catalog for the year.
Oh, yeah. No, I won't last much longer. But no, I'm here traveling. But I caught up with a few things. I saw what's happening in Stardom. I watched some matches from Death Before Dishonor, so I'm ready to talk about those things. No SmackDown, I'm sorry. I heard SmackDown is not great though, so.
It had a gauntlet match that I actually really liked. The Street Profits ran through the entire division only to lose to the Bloodline, of course. We'll touch on that if we have time. But again, guys, make sure to like the video, comment, send super chats, so on and so forth. Before we get into all of those, real quick, Anna, I was scrolling the timeline during my busy weekend where I was doing all these busy cool guy things, these busy real life cool guy things that I was doing. And as I'm doing all these cool guy things, I check my phone and I'm seeing all these tweets about Stardom and people complaining about Stardom. And I'm like, what happened? And people like bashing Taro Okada. And they're like crapping on the booking, and they're talking about like stables being broken up and swerves. And I saw Monty the name Vince Russo being invoked multiple times for Stardom, and I was like, Vince Russo, Stardom, what's going on here? This is the premier Joshi brand in professional wrestling. What's going on?
I guess.
So Anna, you're tapped in. I'm not initiated. What's going on? Why are people freaking out about Stardom? What happened at the show?
So Stardom's booking for a while now, ever since, like Rusty left and a lot of their, like Julia Uemura, a lot of their talent also left. It's been a bit inconsistent. It's not have been like the same Stardom that we're used to. And there have been a lot of decisions that are kind of not popular decisions, not good decisions. The first one was to break up Queen's Quest because, yeah, of course, it's like one of the oldest, most traditional factions that they had was the faction that EO created. So they just like broke that up for no reason, basically. And it looked like the story would be Saya being like the babyface, trying to get back to the top spot. And she was already an amazing babyface when she had her Wonder Stardom like title run. But then for some reason, they decided to turn her heel and to join the new Oedo Tai, which is just called Hate, which is like, first of all, an awful name. And second, like, it's also another like super traditional faction of Stardom is like so iconic, like the visuals, the name, everything, and then they just turned it into Hate, which is so like it makes no sense. I'm sorry, it makes no sense because it's basically this thing. Oh, people left. Of course, we're talking about women, but yeah, no. But then like, yeah, it makes no sense that you just turn that like such a iconic faction into something like that because it is basically the same faction. I'm sorry, like there's nothing different. It's the same people. Like it doesn't make any sense, But like the one good thing I also have to no, there's two good things. Natsupoyo finally won the white belt, which that's been like her story. She finished her story with that one,
She's
and
quite
also
good.
yeah, she's really good. Like I'm really excited for her, this title reign. I think it's gonna be really nice. But also New Genesis, like the new faction with the young talent of Stardom, so Starlight Kid, Azumi, Mio. So I'm excited for that part as well. But it really feels like Stardom, like lately, they've been getting some things right, and then something's just completely fucked and wrong. And it's not being very fun right now. But yeah, the whole thing with Oedo Tai and Queen's Quest is the thing that is making people really upset at Taro Okada because it feels like he's just trying to break up everything that Rossi built and that they had before to make like a new Stardom, but he doesn't realize that, some things you can't just keep it.
Right.
Yeah.
Some things should be sacred, and based on everything that you just summarized here, Anna, this sounds like a promotion that doesn't have a cohesive direction, which to me, Monty, indicates a headless snake. That head is in another place right now, Montel. He is, regardless of what anybody says, one of the
big
better
Ross man,
one of the better promoters in the world. And I don't know.
I mean,
go ahead. I'm just.
No, I'm just saying.
It is
I'm
what
just
it is.
saying.
I guess
You can say whatever you want, but then you watch Marigold and you compare what's going on in both companies. It's like, huh?
Yeah, I gotta catch on what Cerie's been up to. I'll say this though. I guess if you're a Queen's Quest fan, you got your finale with Io and Utami.
Didn't Cerie and Poi tag together earlier?
Yes, at the Cerise show, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She promotes her own shows and then they tag together, and that was very beast because I love that Cerise just does not care about any wrestling politics, so
yeah,
that was amazing to see. Yeah, but I feel like the whole thing with Queen's Quest that also made people even more upset is that they had the whole cage match thing, like they were fighting for the faction, and then there was like that big, beautiful finale. Then of course Utami left right after, but that was the perfect story, the perfect time to have Saya like step up as the leader and because she's like such a huge baby face and she's always been like one of the biggest baby faces that they have, and then just out of nowhere just break up Queen's Quest for no reason and then turn her heel when they had that huge baby face that could get the top spot that they're really leading the company right now. Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense. I feel like a lot of people are just trying to cope, being like, no, maybe Saya, she's gonna be the double agent, she's gonna double cross, and maybe that happens. I don't know, but I don't think it's a smart decision, seeing how they're losing already like so many viewers to just do the decision like this,
Right. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But these
turning Saya heel as an outside, like as a fan, very much on the outside, seems like insane. It's like turning Rey Mysterio or something. It's like why? But I don't know. I'm not tapped in.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing you were tapped into though, Monty, was the Ring of Honor, and You know,
Oh,
it's always funny with these shows, Monty, because anytime I take a peek at the Honor Club show, I'm like, man, this really fucking stinks. Like this is the absolute
yeah.
shit. This is some bullshit. Why would anybody willingly watch this every week? You know, but then you watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-views and you walk out and you just feel something, you know, you pump your fist, you say honor is real. Ian and Caprice are on the call, you know, Mark Briscoe usually wins in the main event, and then you just it makes you believe in the Lord, you know, you just kind of you're like, there was a call, Monty, on this ROH show that just like it was so good. Like Mark wins, and I should have had the quote ready, but it was something along the lines of like, nah, you know what? Let me get the quote out. While I get the quote out, Monty, give me your broad over. I'm gonna get the fucking quote out. While I'm doing this, give me your broad overarching thoughts on this Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor show, Monty.
A good show, a little long, but
Yeah.
it was worth the wait because of how good and how successful the main event was, and even a women's title match I really enjoyed as well. But yeah, man, really good start. Started off with the Luchas, Beast Mortos, Commander. That was really, really good. What else do we have? Undisputed Kingdom versus the Conglomeration. That was a good one. Layla Hirsch versus Diamante. That was a good time. I'm not as high as you've seemed to be on the timeline, and a lot of people are, but definitely a really, really good match. Well done.
I give it 4 stars. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not quite there. Lee Moriarty versus Really You was well done, but you know, and this is kind of where the card started to like drag a little bit for me. Then we went into Red Velvet, sure. Billy Starks, the Dustin Von Erichs tag, the Survival of the Fittest, which I'll be honest now, I thought that was like terrible. And then Athena versus Queen Aminata was really good, and then the main event was I thought spectacular. So like overall good, you know, really good, but it did drag in kind of that middle section a little bit.
You know what it feels like, Monty? It felt like ROH. In the old Ring of Honor, you get these shows that go like 4 hours, 15 minutes. Danielson has a match that's like excellent, but maybe 15 minutes longer than it needs to be. He'll go over fucking Austin Aries in a 43-minute main event. And you're like, okay. You know, Samoa Joe will be in the undercard versus Jay Lethal, and that'll go like 29 minutes. It's very ROH, but I agree with you. I was blown away with how this thing started. Like this show opens up, and like the opening match is like Beast Mortos, you know, Black Taurus against Commander, and it's spectacular. And I'm like, holy shit, this rules. And I love this esports venue, this Arlington venue. It's great when it's hot. It just feels alive, you know. And so I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. And then we go to the Kingdom match, and the Kingdom are like nobody's favorite tag team, but they're like very good. You know what I mean? Like you watch the Kingdom, and I'm like, man, this is good stuff. And I'm DMing Jehovah. I'm like, this is really good. And Ishii starts cooking, and Kyle O'Reilly's doing all the kicks and shit. And I'm like, this is great. And then it kind of like goes a little NXT takeover, and you're like, maybe going a little too long, you know, and just a little bit much. You know, like, all right, we could go home now, guys. And they go into the 7 minutes, but it was still really, really good.
That's Tony Khan ROH like playbook. Like he gets to the pay-per-views, and it's almost like he tells the wrestlers, just like, yeah, go as long as you want, man. You know, have a good time out there.
Because it's not on right now. It's not even on traditional paper anymore. It's Honor Club. I'll say this though about it. Because a lot of the guys that are getting this time aren't people that get heavy minutes on the main shows. You almost like feel happy for them. You know what I mean? Like for me, like for example, like Layla Hirsch and Diamante. It's like, you know, like good for you. You know, go out, do a moonsault off a ladder to a table. Like just go ahead. You know, like it's Ring of Honor. Do your thing. So to me, it's like I always root for the little guy in pro wrestling. And if you're like an underutilized, underpushed C-level talent under Tony's umbrella, and this is your opportunity to finally have that blow away fucking super long ass epic match that's gonna get a bunch of Meltzer stars, like go for it, just go crazy, do your thing. But yeah, I loved how this thing started, and then it kind of dragged in the middle. But yeah, man, that double main event was something else. And Anna, a lot of people, I don't know when this Athena reign is gonna end, but a lot of people were really, really into the Queen Aminata match. And I'll toss it to you for this one. What did you think of Aminata and Athena? Tell me about it.
I think it was really good. They had really good chemistry. And Aminata, I know, like, I don't even know what to say about Athena at this point. Everyone knows, like, she's one of the best in the world. This reign has been amazing, and I really do hope that she breaks the record for being like the longest Ring of Honor champion of all time, because she deserves it. Like what she's done, not just for the women in Ring of Honor, but in AEW as well, just by being amazing. Like we can't even like measure it yet. But yeah, I really do hope that she breaks the record. So, but Aminata, for me, she was really the star of the match. I feel like it was one of those matches that the challenger really shined through.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a really good display of her. Everyone knows that she's good. She's been really showing off on TV this year as well. But for me, this was like the match that made people okay. Like I thought she was gonna win for a little like small period of time. Like I knew she wasn't logically, because I do think they want to make Athena break the record. But there was the thing with Athena
Record
matches
right now,
for
do we
me.
know?
It's September 15th, I think, that she has to hold the title to break the record.
Okay.
So it's 2 months. Yeah, it's right there. But there's the thing with Athena matches that I always enjoy is that like we know she's gonna keep the title, but we always doubt. They always, and with the Willow match, I feel like the doubt was a lot bigger. The Billy match the same, but Aminata, even with Aminata, I was still think like, oh, she might actually like pull it off, and that's what makes Athena for me like such a great heel in matches. And of course, she won by cheating, but I think it was so good. It was so beast. Like when she did the tombstone in the steps, like there are so many spots that they were just amazing. Like the classic Athena spots, just trying to kill each other. And I mean, she held herself so well. I think she's definitely a future star, and I would love to see her holding a title very, very soon. Like I would not be sad if she was the one to eventually take the title of Athena, or to get a title in the future as well, because she's so good. Like she really deserves it. I think it was a really good match, and it just proved why Athena is gonna break this record. Like she's definitely another level for sure.
I love Queen Aminata. She there's a funny thing about her name that I would reveal, but then I'd get doxxed, so I won't do that. But she's just so good. And Monty, I saw her live in Newark, New Jersey for Dynamite in January, and I just I'm seeing her face Mariah May, and she's clearly just the talent being served to fight Mariah in her debut on Dynamite. And my big takeaway was both. I'm looking at it, Monty, and they both passed the eye test to me. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, no, these are both stars.
It's not was the better half of that match. I remember saying it on like a review or something.
Yeah, like she was actually better technically, but you saw why also that Mariah like jumped out the
yeah, absolutely. Like it was a good match. Like
and I'm sitting there, I'm like, both of these people are probably gonna get over, and both of these people will probably make it. And Aminata's doing it on a smaller stage because they chose to put her in Honor Club, but realistically, like a year from now, like if both of those two are just having title matches, like it wouldn't really throw me off at all. I'm a big fan of both, and in the case of Aminata, I mean, she's such an excellent wrestler. So, before we kind of like divert to go to Super Chest, I want you to kind of speak on the match as well, Monty. What did you think about this?
It was as good as you would hope it would be, As Anna's already said, they clearly have a good chemistry. They're both very sound and good technically. Athena brings like a hard-hitting element to all of her matches. She knows how to be brutal with setting up certain spots, like the one on the step that Anna already mentioned as well. And yeah, it's good that she touched on the fact that like Athena does, even though she's so dominant as a champion, and you pretty much know what the result is going to be going into it, she's good enough in structuring her matches, and she's had good opposition enough to where they can create that doubt with the in-ring storytelling that they're doing, It was another successful defense, but who's surprised? Queen Aminata looked great again. I'd like to see them really get moving with her now. Like, yeah, she just fought for the Ring of Honor title on pay-per-view, but on a club, But that's still a very small audience. And when she had like that run of losses at the start of the year where it was basically kind of, she was wrestling people like Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb, Mariah May, as you already mentioned. Obviously, she kind of like lost Toni Storm. And obviously, she lost like all these matches at the start of the year. But everyone was talking about Queen Aminata, how good she's looked in these losses. And, I know she's kind of had her like Ring of Honor run, but it's like she's clearly good enough to be given like a push on TV, and you look kind of... I don't know. AEW is kind of interesting like that because Mariah May was signed with a clear plan of what they're going to do with her, and it was like a very decent plan, and they've been persistent and patient with it, and they've pulled it off pretty much to plan from when they first signed her all that time ago. And look how successful it's been. Look how successful she is right now, and look at kind of like what she's going into with Wembley. It would be nice to see some more kind of like long-term vision for some of these really talented women like Queen Aminata and stuff, because all she needs is a push similar to that. Do you know what I mean? Like something where it's like we're gonna get her from point A to point B in 6 months. You know,
for sure.
Because she's tremendous. You know,
Yeah, like she jumps off the page, like and I'm not even saying this as like a gooner, but like she walks out and she's just striking. You know what I mean? Like it's like holy shit, look at this person. You know, I'm a fan of Aminata. I think she jumps out the page. I think AEW's women's division, especially also even when you count ROH, like it's in a really good place. There's a lot of depth of like people that are just good. You know what I mean? So.
And then we're getting Britt Baker at Wembley. Sorry.
Britt Baker.
I just needed to push this straight there. I'm sorry. I'm
a dentist, you know.
I will say I thought people were like saying the match was good. I thought her match with Sheeta on Dynamite sucked. I thought it
was all right, man. I like Sheeta. I like Sheeta really much.
I don't know. I'm lower on Hikaru Shida, I think, than most people these days.
Oh, trust me, but I ain't gotta worry about that at this territory.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I feel like there's nothing wrong with being like a solid, but like I feel like she's put in conversations that she's not really at, in my opinion. Not to go on a total like side tangent, I don't think she's a great wrestler.
Have you seen her matches in Japan or in AEW only?
I'm speaking purely on her AEW output as of the last like year, because
now.
Right. Yeah. I do think there's actually regression even within this AEW run, like just slightly. But I don't know. I think she's just like fine. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you, as I feel like her last few matches in AEW have not been like the best, but when she wants to put great matches, she can. Like you remember like the Jamie match or the match with Tony, even the Ty match, like she really can deliver amazing matches, you know, but I feel like they're always kind of putting her against people that maybe are not the best, like the dentist. No one can look good against her, I'm sorry. Unless you're fucking Madame Toyota brand dentist, I don't think you can pull that big of a miracle. I mean, Mercedes a short try, but yeah, with Sheeta, I don't know if it's the way that they're booking her, if she's just become kind of like lazy, which I don't blame her, seeing how they book her just like transitional champion the whole time. But if you watch her matches in Japan, you see like she is really good and she can like reach that potential when she's inspired to do so.
Yeah,
which I do not blame her for not being inspired in AEW. So
I totally get that. I will put her over for this, Monty. Her English has come such a long way, and her promos.
Oh yeah, that's really cool to see.
She's like the best English-speaking Japanese wrestler on TV. Like it's like impressive. So shout out to her for that. This is somebody obviously who's like putting the time in to get into that. But before we get into Mark Brisco and sing his praises for what I thought was an unbelievable match, let's quickly get through all these super chats because they've really built up. We appreciate you guys for sending them in. Keep them coming. We're going to keep going through them throughout the rest of this podcast. You guys dictate the pace. You guys point us in the direction we're going in. We really appreciate it. Let's start this up right now, Monty. What do we got?
All right. Charles on Spurs, $5. Appreciate it as always. Hate MJF. House of Torture. Good to have real heels back in the business. You're a nasty guy, bro.
That's disgusting. What a lineup.
Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate you as always. New Japan G1 Climax views, and I heard Jake Lee is Dave Meltzer's new favorite wrestler with his star ratings. Well, you've heard the opposite, and I'm sure you're being sarcastic. But
Dave hates.
Well, he's not. You know.
Oh no, Jake Lee's.
It's not good.
Yeah,
it's yeah, you know, he's like really terrible. It's funny when he defected from Noah to Japan, to New Japan. I tweeted that like this is another horrendous wrestler that will be polluting New Japan cards. And a bunch of people in my comments like, he's not horrendous. He's just kind of right. No, he's like really, really, really terrible. Like this is a tournament where even Evil and Great O'Khan are managing to have some good matches, and he can't like have a match that resembles like passable. He's really, really terrible. So I don't know.
I still don't know where they found him because I remember when they first announced him for the Noah, I think it was the Noah tournament, the N1, like
Mm.
it was like a year, 2 years ago or something. Then everyone's like, "Who the fuck is Jake Lee? Where did they get him
Oh,
from?"
eh,
And everyone's thinking, "Oh, maybe he's super good because he just came out of nowhere. They just decided to get him," and he's not. So I still don't understand what happened there.
I'll
Like, who
tell you,
saw him and thought like, "This is the guy we need."
here's the thing, Anna. This is somebody who continues to fail upwards because he's tall. He's a shoot 6'4", and Japanese promotion. Oh my God, 6'4". I'm going to push you because that's just kind of what you do. This guy Jake Lee, I mean, he has some shoot style background stuff there, but beyond that, he was in All Japan. They pushed him,
Oh
and
yeah.
they tried. It didn't work. It didn't get over. It didn't draw. For whatever reason, Noah was like, "We can make it work." He's 6'4". They did not make it work. Didn't draw. Wasn't particularly. I mean, he was successful technically. Like he won the GHC championship.
K5.
Right, kayfabe. They gave him things, but nobody gave a damn, right? And now
Yeah.
New Japan is like, well, we're New Japan, so fuck Noah and fuck All Japan. We will get him over. We'll put him in fucking the Bullet Club.
It's like WWE signing
Yeah,
Pillman.
yeah, it's literally like
Like
the,
they
you know,
have to tell people, like they don't.
it's
They
the
have to tell people that know how to wrestle. They do
but
not need him.
it's the company arrogance, Anna, of we're the big leagues. We'll work. We know what we're doing, and so they went. He's the smart bastard, Jake Lee, and that's his nickname, the smart bastard. He's in Bullet Club War Dogs, and he stunk so far. He's absolutely terrible.
Triple H should just hit him up. I feel like he needs some NXT in him.
I'm going to be honest, Anna and Monty. Considering his luck and considering how he continues to just fail upwards on the ladder, I actually do think he will be fighting Seth Rollins on a pay-per-view someday for some reason.
No comment. Anjan PN, $2.
Deadpool and Wolverine and Robert Downey Jr. saved my hashtag bye-bye, hashtag we back. Yeah, I watched that in the weekend. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine in the weekend. And I had a great time. It was my it's the first Marvel movie I watched in theaters in a couple of years, and it made me very happy, Monty. It really warmed my soul, and I walked out and I was like, "So my brother, I'm like, is the MCU back?" So that might age terribly, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't
I'm
know.
not I'm nowhere near qualified enough to talk on those subjects, but as a casual,
I don't know.
I've not, well, of course not now because you've just watched one, but I've not watched a Marvel film in longer than you. So
You know what it was? In the pandemic, they're doing all the streaming shows, and I was like, I'm not watching all this shit. You know what I mean? Like it was like, now you got to watch WandaVision and watch the Captain America Winter Soldier, whatever it was called, Loki, and it was like, nah, how about go fuck yourself, actually? But we'll see what happens there.
Match 184, 199. Von Erichs versus Bucks tag titles, all in 2025. Dallas.
Monty, did the Von Erichs business movie on Sunday?
Don't get me emotional.
Still better than Acclaimed or FTR. I'm just saying.
Well, hold on. Anyway,
against the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks best not have those fucking titles in 2025. Let me tell you something. I know I like the Bucks, but Jesus. These tag title runs so far has been it's been interesting.
It's not their fault. I blame the Acclaimed 100%.
The lack of actual run, But anyway, Kale, 50 peso. I appreciate you as always. Chris, this is meant to be Bad Jericho versus Maxwell. This is meant to be Francis Jane Friedman. Hoping we get Io versus Maiko before she calls it quits.
Yes, for the second one.
It would be really cool. It would be. You know what I think would be really cool if Maiko's holding out until April 2025. So when you move to Netflix, do Revolution 2 and put Maiko versus Io on it. Does that move anyone?
Say it again.
For me, that would be like my main event, Because for me, Io versus Maiko, they have like one of my favorite matches of all time. I think was Stardom Year End Climax 2015. If no one has watched it, I do recommend. It's one of my favorite matches of all time. Is Io versus Maiko. So if they could run that back, I would be very happy. But
I think it would be really cool to do that if when they get on for Ibu, when they get on Netflix, Ibu. run Evolution 2 and put Mako on it, amongst
Yeah.
whatever else you put on it,
I'm with it. So I
Just
got
yeah. Sorry, just for the first thing I want to say about MJF, I hate that Osprey couldn't like go around with the title. Roddy couldn't really go around with the title, and then he's just going everywhere. Like
It's
I got
his,
I do not
that's
want to
his
see
bit
that.
though. Okay, so it's like
I do not
he
want to
won
see
the
that.
belt and he's like, I'm actually going to be the international champion, but ironically, and it's funny because he's the actual guy that's kind of got like,
Yeah.
he's got TKs and everyone else is here to the point where he can just be like, I want to go England, I want to go Arena Mexico, I want to go Japan, do it, and they'll just do it because
Yeah.
it's MJF, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas when it's like Pac, he's like,
Yeah,
one, I
but
don't think
it's
he's as like forward with expressing what he wants as an MJF. Then also it's just kind of
yeah.
it's just different. It's just a different thing, isn't it? It's a different level. So it is kind of hilarious how like MJF is actually the person to be the person to take the international title around the world, and he's doing
Yeah.
it completely ironically.
Yeah, and that's the thing that for me it's just like kind of I already talked about it. Like I understand, ooh, it's the gimmick or whatever. For me, it's still like stupid and disrespectful, that he's just like going to places when we know he does not care. Like yeah, I mean, we'll see. I really hope to be wrong, and I hope that he puts a little bit of effort, but I do not have high hopes at all for those
I
matches.
it kind of does pop me that he's going to different companies. To be honest with you, I think I'm not gonna watch the Michael Oku match because I respect myself, but I will. I'm not doing that. I will
Is
watch.
that Michael Slater?
No comment on that. But I will watch. I, I will watch the Templario match in CMLL. I think that's going to be probably quite fun. We'll see what he does to get the booze. But I do respect the touring world champion. Just the idea that always pops me when a guy brings his belt to different companies. So we'll see how it turns out, and we'll see how the Wembley match.
And the thing, I will be very fair. If the matches are good, I'm gonna say that they're good. I'm not gonna be like, oh fuck MJF. But if he pulls out his bullshit again, then no.
Absolutely.
Anjan PN $2. Appreciate you as always. Hangman gonna snap that skeleton like a twig. It's very spiteful.
Anjan is right.
Young Darbs.
I hope so.
The latest Darby Allin match graphic, which is him and Hangman Page, is big time. That is an awesome matchup. I'm excited to see that. 2 AEW originals that haven't gotten to wrestle yet. That should be pretty fucking phenomenal. And I was talking to people from AEW, Monty, about this, and they basically said the idea was just we really want to keep the momentum when it comes to these ratings are up right now. Not Double or Nothing. Blood and Guts was a success, and it was a good show. And the week before that was a success with the MJF Osprey. Let's keep the foot on the gas. And let's book a match between two top stars, and they did, and I respect it, and I'm excited. So I'm gonna look forward to that one.
Darren Walker at £5. Over the last month, Jeff Jarrett, best babyface in the business from Owen Hart promos and segment with Danielson, real graps. Listen, when he talks,
big Wembley.
I listen. Big Double J. He's listen. He's been around long enough. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He knows how to. He knows how to.
I can't wait for him to be the special guest referee for the Hangman Okada match. That's.
Yeah, God bless. Dragon Master Adam, £2. Does Mortos need a manager? Who are we thinking?
No, I mean.
Alex Dantes.
I was gonna say if you tell Tony to give him a manager, he's just gonna give him Abrahantes, and that's just gonna make his.
Of course.
He's gonna just
like
hop
the
around
Mexican.
and be like, he's gonna be like, well, tonight, Mortos. They're gonna have a backstage promo, right? Where Lexi Nero will be like, Mortos, what do you think about the match tonight? And he's gonna be like, and then he's gonna be like, what Mortos says is tonight he's gonna take you out, right, Mortos? And he's like, and he's like, exactly. He'll do his little pose, and it's just like, all right, bro. Like, so, I don't know. Have you been seeing that, Monty? They do these audio effects with him now when he talks. Like they do these pre-tapes that they post on Twitter, and like they're trying to catch him, like Mardos. He turns around and he's like, "Roar!" It sounds like a freaking like dinosaur.
They ain't sound effects, bro.
It's so beast.
It's
Stop the
just him.
cap. That's that real shit right there. That's that authentic raw audio of Beast Mortals.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, for me, they should just put Stokely with him. Just put Stokely with everyone.
Bro, honestly, I think now that I don't know. I guess if he comes up again, we'll get into it a bit more. But I want to keep it moving. Ricky Worley, 199 hologram, good. He's been super impressive in those
yeah,
it's amazing.
first 2 matches.
He
Mortos again.
Yeah, I watched his match with Mordos right before we went live, and he jumps out the page, man. The crowd loves him. He does all this spectacular shit. I've seen Aramis before. I want to say it was in PWG. I just remember watching him in like 2021. But I mean, my God, Mortos is just an amazing baby. This guy does spectacular stuff, and it's always cool. I love the luchadors, man, because like when they're great, it's just so easy for them to get over. You just give them the space and the platform to just do their cool things, and people just kind of take to it. And a lot of times they come from settings where they're just basically taught how to work and how to basically be flashy and showman and get over. And so of course this guy's going to get over, and he did, and it's been a successful rollout for Hologram.
Absolutely. Hologang is is what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing on the timeline. I'm seeing the chat.
really big on that. He's been Hologang or die. Exactly. Shout out to the Hologang. I don't want any smoke with the Hologang.
Phantom FTW £2. Appreciate it as always. ROH Paul booking black talent better than Fed Paul.
Who's ROH Paul?
ROH Paul.
Yeah, who's ROH Paul?
ROH. Someone in the chat. We're blanking here, bro.
Who's ROH Paul? But sure, I'll take that.
Paul White.
Just look at Athena.
He has joined the board of directors now, hasn't he? So
he's like
Big Show.
He's like the whatever they call it, like board of ROH board of director or something. Like
he's on the board of directors. That's what it is.
I think they literally called him the board of directors.
No, it's not. You're going off the Brian Bamager tweeted it, and he said like Paul White is the board of directors, and it's like that isn't what he said, and that don't make sense, you know. But like, he's on the board of directors now. Big Paul White.
I'm gonna break some really bad news, Monty.
No,
bad news. Jey Uso versus Carlito on Raw tonight.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be like
real.
That's an angle.
That's gonna be like complete horseshit. Like that's like worst match of the year contender.
Hour 2 bullshit.
That is some straight up
a solid 0.5.
Hour 2 horseshit. If that gets more than like 2 minutes, like Triple H is out of his fucking mind. And I was just putting over Carlito last week because people were saying like, who's funnier, Carlito or R-Truth? And I said, well, Carlito doesn't bother anybody, nor does he make me have to watch his wrestling. He just kind of hangs out, you know? And then now this week, they're making him wrestle. Like, why are you doing that to me? So I guess we'll talk about that on the Raw review, unfortunately, tomorrow. But had to break that.
They're trying to beat the allegations, you know, like the racism allegations. They're like, let's put Carlito there.
Triple H is like, you know, we could really put a dynamic Latino talent on our show. Really exciting, high-flying, energizing Latino talent. He walks by Rey Mysterio. He walks by Dragon Lee. He's looking around. He sees Joaquin Wilder. He's Carlito! He's like, come out there. Oh, fuck me.
Carlito on TV and Andrade on Speed. That's crazy.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, Andrade's been on TV too. I just don't know what.
Yeah, now they're starting off with him. Now it's good.
Yeah.
Berkey, 199, reporting from Arlington, FTR bad, MXM good, hologram goat.
Monty, how was the FTR Maximum, the former Maximum Male Models?
Good match, man. They're good, and I can see them catching on a little bit in AEW because, you know, they know how to do the character work and they are charismatic and they are decent workers. I think most people are aware of what he was doing in WWE, even though it wasn't too much, you know. He was, what did people call him, like Saudi Cena or something, because he was undefeated in Saudi. Yeah, even though he wasn't wrestling every week, when he did wrestle, he would look like somewhat impressive and pretty decent. Mace was a little bit different. But But he's got he's big, he's got a good look, and he kind of knows what he's doing in there. And they've got the shtick that they do, and it looks like good character work. And they touch tips, and that's the sort of thing that they do.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I should watch it. Yeah, sounds nice.
Well, yeah, they touch tips, and yeah, they're good. And obviously FTR, Ibu, Anna might be a hater, but you know what you're gonna get from Dax and Cash.
Some pristine tag.
Yeah, it's the same thing as always. Yeah.
Oh, stop it!
Which is beautiful and a beautiful, gorgeous, smooth,
just classic, real.
Boring.
Like
potatoes.
Holding the tag rope, just.
I like meat and potatoes, Anna. I love it to just.
No meat, just potato. Unsalted and seasoned.
Oh my god!
Stop it! Stop!
Would you stop it? Yeah, no, I think FTR is great. I'm happy they're back. The King of the North. Oh my God, Anna Cook. AO says Cook. Anna. She's not cooking.
Yes,
she's really not. She's really
like
not.
FTR.
Yeah.
We can't even talk about that over tag team. Anyway, Russia 1221 $2.79 Canadian, appreciated. Dave's going 5 stars on Diamante versus Layla.
Probably not.
I don't think so, mate. He'll rate it highly though.
Yes.
I think he will rate it very nicely, so
he'll give it a 4.5.
Solid 3.5.
Nah, I don't think he'll go 4.5. I think he'll go 4.25. 4.25 is my guess. Get him in now, folks. Friday afternoon, it will be revealed. Anyway, Showtime spells $5. Red versus Billy wasn't as good as the other two, but Red Velvet's new finisher rules. Yeah, I like Red, man. I like Red.
Yeah. And I'm happy that she won as well. Okay.
I like to stir it up,
Yeah, Billy's I'm not gonna do it like that. Anyway, Alex Diaz, $19.96. Is it a foregone conclusion Jordan Grace goes to WWE in January? Foregone conclusion. I don't think you can say that with Jordan because she's very independent. It's probably a polite way of putting it. But that OnlyFans money, brother. It's she does very well from her subscription services. So. For her to give that up, she would have to get paid. Apparently, she was paid very nicely for the NXT appearance that she did. But I don't know. I think it will just come down to kind of how. I think Triple H will really want her though, and I think that will kind of be the tiebreaker, because I think if WWE want her, they're going to have to make a really nice offer for her. And that obviously depends on how much WWE want, and I think Triple H will want her quite a lot. But foregone conclusion, I don't think you can say that with someone like Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace versus Bozilla. That's my only thing.
She's awesome.
That would be awesome.
Chihiro Hashimoto and Sendai Girls. Yeah, we'll see what happens to WWE. They're going to have to outbid the gooners that are willing to pay Jordan Grace maximum amounts of money to see her put cakes and cupcakes in her private parts.
They do what now?
I'm not making any of this up. That's for.
Yeah, but the way you say it, you know what I mean? You make it sound a lot more graphic and weird than what it actually is,
Monty, you saw the picture. She just.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying it she's fucking shoving and fucking shit up there, and that's not what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
She's not inserting cake into her body. She is.
Yeah, but you're talking about private parts and that.
Hey, let's just move on. Good for her. I hope that she gets the bag. I just hope she gets the bag.
I think she's an awesome wrestler. I can't wait to see more of her. I think she's terrific, and she should get paid top dollar because she's one of the best American women's wrestlers. Anton said he was talking like he's a subscriber. No, I'm not. I'm. Yeah, yo, come on.
Anyway, Mazfan84 199. What is the WrestlePurists stance on Mortos and Hologram?
They're very good.
Very hard. Yeah. All of us as well. Good. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
These comments are crazy.
You come out with these weirdly worded things, bro. You deserve it.
What the fuck?
Anyway, Kale, 20 pesos. Talk to some people. MJF is not welcoming.
Get him.
Oh, man. I'm looking forward to seeing Max in Reign of Mexico. That's going to be real fun.
Mega J.
Arca is 777 499. Just imagining Alex spamming this Sierra Miedo emote behind Mortos. Stop it.
Fuck.
Just stop all that motion right now.
Can't do it.
TK Banks $5. WWE Vault showing Punk in a tag match against LOD in 2003 is the content they need to release more. Did you see that, Ibu? The Punk Legion of Doom WWE Vault tag
the
from the
WWE
tryout?
Vault account is bringing out all these random things like Takeshi Morishima's tryout and all this. And Punk, today he was leading up a match that he had, and it was like you just said, Monty, it was a tryout match. It was him and another like local indie wrestler against the Legion of Doom. Did not watch it. I saw the screenshot of Punk in his ROH shorts in like a SmackDown ring, which is really fascinating. I could see. I think Punk said that after the match, they fucking the WWE people were saying like Punk is bad from this point forward. So it kind of just shows you how different things were there. You know, the skinny fat guy walks in with tattoos and like long basketball shorts, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" You know. So
I mean, Kale. 20 pesos. WWE will fail. WWE will fail. WWE will fail. WWE will.
Yeah. Jey Uso versus Carlito like legitimately makes Raw a worse TV show. That's a really bad matchup. Are we done with the super chats?
Yeah, but where are you taking us next?
I'm taking you guys to the main event, and I want you to touch on this. Tell me about Mark Briscoe versus Roderick Strong, and I want to know if you like this match because I loved it.
Yes, I really, really liked it. I feel like I don't know why for like a very long time I didn't connect with Mark Briscoe, and I know that's like very controversial. Like everyone loves him, but I feel like with this match and this latest run with him with the title, it's been really hitting for me, and especially with Roddy. I feel like every time Roderick Strong has a big match, I always say the same thing. Like he's so underrated, which is insane considering that everyone knows how good he is, but he's still underrated at the same time. Like it makes no sense. But I still think he's one of the best in the world. He's amazing. And Mark Briscoe, he's one of those people like Eddie Kingston that you just think like he believes this is real, And that blade job, I just need to talk about the blade job. It's like squirting blood, just completely bleeding, like he really commits to everything he does. So even if he does like a very simple move, he sells it like he's giving everything that he has. And I think that really like makes you, get really into it when you're watching his matches. So I think it was really, really good. I'm not as high on it as a lot of people are because, it's still not my preferred kind of wrestling. And it's still, besides, I really love Roddy, but I'm still not like 100% into Mark Briscoe, which I'm really sorry to say that. I know like probably gonna get cooked for this, but I'm still getting into it, I'm still getting into it. I feel like I need a couple more matches to really like fall for it, but it popped me a lot of the times. Like I said, amazing blade job. Roderick is amazing. I hope that he gets more title shots, and I would love to see him win the Ring of Honor title in the future. But yeah, I'm really happy with this title reign so far. I think Mark Briscoe, he's really like establishing himself as a singles wrestler after everything that happened. Like he's really holding everything together so well. So I really enjoyed it, yeah, for sure. But I'm sorry, guys. I do like him a lot. I do like him. I just don't know why. Like he doesn't connect with me as much as other wrestlers, but I do think he's very good. I just want to establish that. I don't think he's bad.
It's unfortunate to hear that Anna's handing in her WrestlePurists resignation. But,
I like him. He's growing on me. He's growing on me.
Roll with the punches here,
No,
I'm sorry. I knew saying that was bad, but I do not understand why. But I'm getting there. I really like the match. I think he's really good. I enjoy his promos. I enjoy watching him talk. I think he's like really nice. I just need like to get the connection somehow. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying.
That's the thing. A lot of Mark Briscoe, it's like the sentiment.
He is good. He is good.
Hannah's getting like, nah, it's fine. I'm sorry, Briscoe, but I will say it did take me a little bit to quite love him the way like Joe and Monty do, right? But and I'm talking like when the Briscoes were still together, because I it's kind of weird. I always respected them. And I always thought they were great. But I feel like I almost took them for granted. And you take guys,
everyone did.
Yeah, exactly. The industry took them for granted. And then like when I really started to appreciate them, I only got a year with the Briscoes before we lost Jay. But Mark is, to me, Mark, what I love about him is he just kind of like makes you believe. It's just weird. It's like weird to say, but I don't know. It's almost like spiritual to me. Um, I'm watching this match and he's just fighting so hard. And you know what this was, Monty? This was a hairy chest match. This is for men with hairy chests. You know what I mean? This is for people that drink their coffee black with no cream in it. You know what I mean? This is for those types of guys. You know, these are the guys that drink Sprite fresh out of the can when it's still all sparkly. You know what I mean? You know, it's it's for those types of people. You know, but I thought this was excellent, and there was some great drama and there's great physicality. Roderick Strong is just a machine, and they beat the shit out of each other, and then you get blood, and it's like, oh man, blood makes everything better objectively, right? But we get to the closing stretch, and there's some great near falls, and Mark is so passionate, and he gets the kick out at one, and I know that's like an overdone spot at this point, but like he does it, and you're like, yeah, let's fucking go, Mark. And Riccaboni and Caprice are so fun on commentary when they're locked in, like it gets you into a match. You know that Ian does like extreme voice where he's like, Mark kicked out at one. I'm like, Mark kicked out. He's going crazy. And yeah, I just thought this was excellent. I thought this was an excellent main event, and he overcomes the interference from the heels, and he wins with the froggy bow, and it just feels really happy and joyous. And it's like Mark Briscoe is the ultimate goodwill, good vibes professional wrestler. And so when you end a show that has largely been very strong with a victory of his, it's like, man, like this is pro wrestling. So I love this. I love the ending. I loved Mark Briscoe winning. And I finally have the quote, Monty, from Ian Riccaboni. Was yes, you got to tie it back. He said, for anybody that has ever dared to doubt Mark Briscoe, he is powered by something bigger than he. And he's pointing to the sky, and he's pointing to Jay, and he's pointing to God, and the fans are celebrating, and he wins again, and he holds the championship. And I'm like, that's pro wrestling. Lovely, lovely stuff there, and a great close to a show that I thought was great. Like you said, a little long, but a great show, and just another consistently quality ROH Tony Khan show. What did you think of this main event, Monty?
I actually thought it was like quite beautiful. Like I thought it was actually like kind of moving in the sense that it was like just inherently being Roderick Strong versus Mark Briscoe for the ROH World Title in the main event. That alone, like for those that have followed either of those men's careers, know how important they are to each other. Roderick Strong was like one of Jay's best friends. He might have been. I'm only like 70% sure, but I think he was like his best man at his wedding and shit. Like they were locked in. They were really tight. They were really close. And obviously Roderick Strong's a very good friend of the family, and obviously goes without saying everything that Mark's been through over the past, like 18 months or something now. It's been a while, but there's just a lot going into it, and you know how good both men are. Like, you know what you're going to get from Roderick Strong. It's like I said, if you've followed either of these men throughout their careers, they've already wrestled each other like fucking 40 times or something, probably more. They just know each other, and it's you could tell that match meant a lot to both of them. Especially in front of like in this Arlington, Texas smaller venue that's kind of cool and a bit more intimate and stuff. Where I know there's something about Mark Briscoe. He's so endearing, so infectious, so kind of you just want to root for him. As Ibu said, like he's just the ultimate like good vibes wrestler. People just love him. People just like kind of they're along for the ride with him. And when Roderick Strong's working him over, it's like you can feel it with him when you're rooting for him. And when he's doing his shine at the start, Mark Briscoe, it's just he knows how to fill the space really well. He's entertaining. He's just whether it's redneck kung fu, whether it's dives, whether it's this, whether it's that, whether it's these insanely hard chops, and the story of the match was just snug, hard hitting, real. Like kind of the emotion tied professional wrestling. That spot at the end. The spot at the end with the Jay Driller and him kicking out at one, and he powers up and he fucking he rises and he climbs up on the ropes and he's pouring of blood, and you get that insane visual of Roderick behind him like in disbelief, and it's like I'm sitting in my chair firing up with him, like it's just
Yeah.
that's the Mark Briscoe effect, you know. He makes you believe that you're like on the ride with him, and he's just a phenomenal, outstanding professional wrestler for me. And Roderick Strong the same, man. Like, he's so, especially when he's working heel, bro, because he can be so brutal and vicious, you know. And he's everything that he does is just with a really like high level of intensity, and just it was just tremendous, you know. And as you already touched on, Riccaboni and Caprice on the call, like, they were phenomenal last night, especially during the main event. And they always lock in for the Briscoes, man. Like something
Yes,
else,
they do.
you know. It's part of that ROH charm, and
absolutely.
and yeah, man, just like how successful it was, the ending, people coming out, you know, Briscoe pointing to the sky as he always does, and it was just, I don't know, it just moved me. It was my favorite match of the weekend, favorite match of the week, comfortably.
I thought it was a hell of a week for Mark Briscoe. He had this performance. He had the amazing performance in that Blood and Guts, and I hope he wins Wrestler of the Week for the WrestlePurists thing. I don't know if he posted that yet, but I hope he wins.
Well, he has.
Oh, is that breaking news?
Yeah, it's breaking news. I haven't tweeted it, but
all right. So
the
there you go. Breaking news for last week, Monday to Sunday. Mark Briscoe is your Wrestler of the Week, and that's off the back of the amazing Blood and Guts performance and his tremendous main event at Death Before Dishonor. And God bless him, an awesome wrestler, still kicking, still doing his thing, so fucking great. He's the Wrestler of the Week. Death Before Dishonor was awesome, and that was our coverage of that show. And I understand that you have to depart, but before you go, do you have any parting thoughts with the public? Any hot takes? Any things you'd like to say? Would you like to sing a song? Would you like to do a match?
Yeah, you got to say something to make up for Mark Briscoe slander. Even though it wasn't slander, we're taking
is there anything
it was
that
not slander
off your chest? Is there anything?
Say something nice about Mark Briscoe.
Just leave streaming.
I do think he's good. I do agree. Like, he gives you the emotion. He makes you believe that it's real. I feel like because maybe I didn't follow like the Briscoes' career, I didn't really watch them when they were wrestling as a tag team. Maybe that's why I don't have like the same connection that most people have. And I do need to like get on that. I watched the FTR matches and they were phenomenal, but I didn't watch a lot before that. So I do need to get on that because I do think he's very good. And the Blood and Guts was incredible. I think it was the best Blood and Guts for sure. They should have just put Jack Perry on fire. I'm sorry. They did it once. They can do it again. You know?
That was so sick. That was so sick.
They actually did.
Man. Well, Anna,
free Anthony Bowen. That's all I have to say. Thank you, guys.
Anna,
I'm sorry that I have to leave, but I'll
be
here next week.
Thank you, Anna. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Have a good one, Anna. Well, that was Anna. We're really, really sad that she had to leave us for the rest of the show, but thankfully, this week, Monty watched a lot of the weekend's action. And so I'm going to rely on you and lean on you, Monty, to take me through some of it. Specifically, we already touched on Hologram, and we touched on some of that stuff. And I saw SmackDown. I want you, even though this wasn't on the rundown, technically, I want you to tell me about this Bloodsport thing. Like, was this show any good? I saw people shitting on Shayna Baszler and Miyu Yamashita, which
that wasn't.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I think as a show, it was a good show because it because of the card, there was always someone like that you were somewhat interested in. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was always kind of like, like you had the Creed brothers, and then hold on, let me pull up the card, bro.
Shayna was on there wrestling Miyu, and you had Charlie Dempsey and the Creeds.
Here we go. Yeah, that's what I mean. So you got Julius Creed in the second match. Then it's like Masha Slamovich and Jody Fret had like a nice little kind of like roll around, Royce Isaacs defeated Charlie Dempsey, bro.
Yeah,
beat him. WWE taking a loss in GCW. Who would have thought? But yeah, some of the crowd booed it as well, which I found hilarious because, like, isn't it meant to be like the GCW fan? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why do you want the WWE guy to win?
The culture of hardcore fans has changed.
It's so weird, man. I'll never get used to it.
We're past the days of like hardcore fans that just hate anything WWE related. Like, that used to be the thing, Like, if Charlie Dempsey walked into Ring of Honor in 2007, like, he'd be getting slurs. Like.
Yeah, no, for real though. That's how it was then.
Yeah, like, fuck you, WWE bitch. Like, it's like that.
Literally, and they definitely would have chanted slurs at him that would get cancelled if we was to guess what they would be back then as well. So they were relentless, you know. But yeah, Julius Creed and Brutus Creed, I thought they both looked decent as expected, you know, because obviously they've both got like that grappler background and stuff, and it's like, you know, they're physical guys and they can kind of just, you know, do their thing, and they did, you know. Brutus Tom Lawler, man, it was a nice little. You want to ease with Bloodsport, bro. It's like if you're into that thing, then more times than not, you'll get popped by like just watching the show, you know. They're never that long because the matches never go too long. There's little things that will happen on it that'll pop you, like a quick finish or something, like Mike Bailey head kick KO'd Akira, and it was like fucking awesome, you know. Because it's like the way he sold it, it was like he legit KO'd him. But yeah, man, Homicide and Mike Santana, that was you know, whatever. But like yeah, it was I thought there was enough on it to say that it was a pretty decent show. But again, it's one of those things. It's like if you're into that thing, then you'll enjoy it. You know, Baszler versus Miyu in the main event did leave quite a bit to be desired, but you know, you can't. Josh Woods versus Tim Thatcher. You know, they showed some grit. You know, it was a decent show, man.
Got you. I saw the clip of MVP and that popped the shit out of me. Of him like pulling up and being like, "My contract's about to end, and I'm not leaving wrestling yet. I'm not done yet." And he wants to fight him. And Barnett's like, "Bring your crew, bring your hurt business." I genuinely think we're gonna see a Bobby Lashley Bloodsport graphic. I think he's definitely gonna do it. He's gonna use his shoot.
MVP showing up there. Yeah, I've completely forgot to say that. I was just talking about the graps. Like MVP showing up, bro. Like talking about wants to challenge Josh Barnett.
I love MVP.
Hey man, he got his black belt like last week, and he's moving crazy already, bro. It's mad. Calling out UFC champions and all sorts, you know.
I'm with it. So shout out to Barnett, shout out to Bloodsport. I like Bloodsport except when they ruin Jon Moxley. You know, but
listen, you can't even blame. No, no, it's a good bit because it does pop me, but
I love it. It's a sick bit. Yeah.
It is a good bit, but like that like MMA mock shit was it's not new, you know. He's been trending in this direction that we're seeing now for a minute, you know. So you know,
I was gonna say, Monty, another little update here. This is funny. Tonight's Raw is all wrestling, save for the opening segment. So we'll see how that turns out. It's there's one live promo / angle, and then after that, it's like all wrestling from 8:20 on. So interesting.
They'll get what they need to. They'll get their angles in and stuff.
No, I'm saying, but there's no live promo / angle like other than that. Like usually there's usually 3 to 4 on Raw and multiple backstage. There's obviously you're gonna get the backstage interviews and promos and vignettes, but like there's no other live thing in the ring with that. It's just all. So.
It's all done now, though, isn't it? Because you got to think, it's like Gunther and Priest can't be in the same ring as each other now because they fucking beat the shit out of each other and brawl all over the place. He'll have Dom, Liv, and Rhea stuff. That's the other like really big story outside of Punk Drew. They've already done so much. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like they kind of gotta let things sit and let the people like wander. You know what I mean? And then you got Punk Drew, bro, which is like that's the only one where I think.
Sorry, we got a new AEW man. Oh my god! Mark Briscoe, Tomohiro Ishii, and Orange Cassidy versus the Beast Mortos, Roderick Strong and Rouge.
That's good shit. That's a good one.
That's good shit.
Well,
yeah. Ishii and Rouge,
come on. What was he talking about?
You were talking about the SummerSlam building, how they already did the hard sell on a lot of the angles.
Yeah. There you go. So,
you know, I apologize to you, Monty, because you're not going to be able to get your WWF chicanery this week. You know, it's going to be a lot of just the boring old wrestling.
What do you mean?
Because you get you love to get your pops from just like this, the chicanery. You know what I mean?
No, I like a good angle. Like a good one. I don't like angles for the sake of angles.
Fair. A lot of the Raw ones have been good lately. They should have fucking booked Braun Baker on this show, but nevertheless, that was a little anecdote on Raw, and Monty gave us the coverage of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. So if you watched that, he covered it, and it seems like he had
There
a
you
nice.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Enjoy.
You're right. The G1, Monty. I'm looking
Yeah.
at the standings, and these are killing me, bro. Do you know who has the most points in the G1 right now?
I have no idea who. Well, obviously, I've seen a few matches, so I know some people aren't on 0 points.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But I have no idea who's like.
Yeah. Where?
Doing
I'll
what.
tell you this. Normally, when I watch the G1, I don't pay attention to the standings until maybe midway. Like I have a glance at it, and then maybe late. But I'm looking at it now, and like I'm howling with laughter. Monty leading the field. So tied for like second. There's 2 people, I think, maybe 3 that have 6 points. On top of everybody, I don't even know how this happened. Like under everybody's nose. I didn't notice when this happened. Evil is 5-0 with 10 points in the G1. Evil is leading A Block with 10 points. 5-0. Zack Sabre Jr., a lot of people's sentimental favorite. A lot of people's hopeful to win the tournament. ZSJ is 4-1 with 8 points. Gabriel Kidd, 6 points, is 3-2. Shota Umino, 6 points, is 3-2, 4th place in the A Block. Shingo Takagi, our boy's not going to make the playoffs, Monty. He's 2-3. He's 2-3, 4 points.
Yeah,
he's sagging behind. I don't know if he's going to be able to make up the ground. Got to gather some wins here. We'll see what happens. But there you go.
Like the G1 climax standings are always kind of funny up until like the last 2 matches because that's kind of what Gato does. It's like the guy who wins the block loses his first match fucking all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone who's someone's definitely not winning the block when they win the first 3 matches. Like it's
great.
It's just kind of how he does it. We're
going to touch on my favorite standout in the tournament and how there may be a chance getting Gato. Which, well, no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. I'm going to finish A Block first. So, under Shingo, it's Bum City. So, Callum Newman, 2-3, 4 points. He's likely not going to win another match in this block. But the idea was to just get him in the G1 and get his feet wet. So, good for him. Under Callum Newman is Sonata, former champion, 2-3. He's kind of back to just the spot he was in pre-championship. He's just he's just Sonata, right?
Pre-shave.
Right. 2-3, 4 points. He'll probably pick up another win or 2, maybe 3. I don't even know. But Sonata is not gonna be in the running to advance out of this. Naito, this is the big shocker. He's likely gonna go on a run. Gato does love doing this. Gato loves to get like pushed guys and put them behind the 8 ball early in the tournament for them to then rattle a bunch of wins. Naito is 2-3, 4 points. In literal reality, he has been struggling with performing the Destino in the finishes of matches, and he's been botching them, and he's had a couple bad matches, and he hasn't looked the same. They have now begun to work this into kayfabe because New Japan is a real promotion, Monty. And so the commentary is saying like, man, he really needs to pivot out of that Destino. He needs to change his game plan. He's not winning with it. It's struggling. He's struggling to hit the Destino. It's affecting him in matches. It's why he's losing. And so what's likely going to happen is Naito is probably going to rattle off a bunch of wins here and make it back to the top of the block. So don't expect him to stay low any further. Great O'Khan has a big shocker. 1-4, 2 points. He's not going to advance. But what I will say about Great O'Khan is he's been having some solid matches. Yeah, he's having good showings. And so the creative goal of his G1 is to basically show I can have non-bullshit matches. And to that end, it's been a success. Last place is that fucking piece of shit, Jake Lee, 1-4, 2 points. Welcome to New Japan, buddy.
Who did he beat?
I gotta fucking check. Oh, it was I think it was either Sonata or Naito. I'm struggling to remember who it was. He got a huge statement win over a big. I'm like someone please help me in the chat here. But it was night 1, his first night. They gave him a big win over a top star, and then from then on he's been jobbing. Yeah, it was Sonata. There we go. Night 1 Sonata. He got the big statement win, and then from then on it was like, all right, you're gonna fucking eat shit now. And he's been eating shit in bad matches. So Jake Lee, last place in the block. B block, Monty. So I'm gonna start from the bottom up. El Phantasmo's 1-3, 2 points. He's doing this storyline right now where he's like super depressed because like he's not with God anymore. It's like a sad boy storyline. He will not, he will not be a contender towards the end here. Yota Tsuji behind the 8 ball, 1-3, 2 points. We'll see if he can pick up wins and catch back up. I expect him to. I want to say I expect him to. David Finley, 2-2, 4 points. He's middle of the pack now. He may stay middle of the pack, but he's historically has been pushed, including right now. And he's a title holder, and because he's a title holder, he has to at least be in the mix in the final 3. So we'll see what happens there. Oleg Boltin, big shock. Oleg Boltin, 2-2 right now, 4 points.
People have been liking him, bro.
They've been liking him. The other thing is he was not expected to win a lot of matches because he's new, and that's not how New Japan books. He's 500 right now. We'll see if that ends there. It may, but he has picked up 2 points. Sorry, 2 wins. He has 4 points. Same. We have a bunch of other guys at 4 points. Ren Narita, Jeff Cobb, and Goto are all 2-2, 4 points. Narita has not had a good tournament. We know the score with him, Monty. He's just, he's in the house of torture mode. He's just not very good at the moment. Jeff Cobb, yeah. Jeff Cobb has had some good matches. I was kind of.
Bro, did you know Jeff Cobb is 42?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, but no, it's just like
you don't think of it like that, right?
She just makes me feel old, bro. Like,
yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
It's just, I don't know, it scares me.
He like feels like he's 33, you know what I mean, or something like 30.
It just makes me feel old, bro. Because like, I've watched Jeff Cobb for years, but like, you just don't feel like he's in his 40s. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, and it's like if he chooses to get a payday outside of like New Japan, it's like, what's AEW or WWE's incentive to like really invest in him at like 44 years old? You know what I mean?
And also, don't you think that the way when New Japan was getting really strong with his push and he was like feuding with Okada, he was doing all that stuff. It's like don't you think they were like pushing him like he was like younger, if that makes sense?
Yeah, but I think it
was like a new threat push. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, they were doing what WWE does now too, which is like they feel young because they're a new face in the territory, but they're like literally not young. It's kind of like LA Knight and Damian Priest, who are like 40-year-olds getting pushed. Yeah. It's the same thing in New Japan, and I think for him, it's like if he stays long term, like that's totally fine too. But if he leaves, it's one of those things where it's like, how do you invest in a guy that's going to be in his mid 40s? But modern medicine and all that. I think Cobb has actually had some really nice performances. He was someone I was mildly souring on before this, but he's had some good matches. He had a great.
He's 42.
Right. He had a great one with Takeshita, though. It was a hell of a sprint, 10 minutes, very lean, fat-free. So beyond that, we have I said already, Hanare, Ren Narita, Cobb, Goto, Bolton, all that 2-2. And then the top 2, Monty, 2 of the best performers in the whole tournament. Number 2 is Konosuke Takeshita, 3-1 with 6 points. Number 1 is Yuya Uemura, 3-1 at 6 points. They are tied for the top. Yuya Uemura has been the story of the tournament. This guy won his first 3 matches, Monty. He goes in a night 1 and he defeats David Finley. And then in the second match, he beats Hirooki Goto with that kind of double clutch suplex thing that he does, which is so fucking cool. And then on the, I think it was like night 4, he's in the main event with Konosuke Takeshita, and they go long, and it's this long, epic, awesome back and forth match. And you're expecting maybe this is where the Yuya Linsanity ends, right? No, it doesn't. He gets a huge win over Konosuke Takeshita in what I thought was the best match of the tournament by far. A hell of a fucking match. One that was very vindicating for me as a fan because we finally got to see Yuya show everything that he can be. And the thing about him, Monty, is like the way he builds a match and structures a match, it's very beyond his years. And it's the type of skills and tools that you need, in my opinion, to be a top wrestler in New Japan with their house style. So, man, he's finally really putting it all together and showing people why New Japan themselves had high hopes in him, why people like myself were really high on him as a young lion. Even just the way he does his finishes, Monty. He was tied up with Takeshita in the middle of the ring, right? He couldn't get the leverage to get the suplex off, right? So then he kind of like uses his body to force Takeshita while locked up into the corner headbutts him, and then uses that momentum to then whip him back for the suplex. It was just a hell of a finish, and all these closing stretches have been memorable. What do you make, Monty, of Yuya so far? What did you think of that Takeshita match, and what are your thoughts on Yuya's sanity?
I love Yuya. I remember like before his excursion being really high on him. I remember having the conversations with you about like I think it was like a New Japan Strong show. I remember having a conversation with you about him, just kind of like how he's just fundamentally like you can tell he's got it, you know. And obviously he had like a weird excursion, and I think people were so quick to write him off because I just don't think they're so used to like. I don't think they're as used as like some other fans may be to like. Sometimes these excursions are just like, you know, it's an excursion, like it's in the name, man. Like sometimes you just kind of go off and do like just other shit and test out things, and you get thrown into the deep end. And sometimes it's just not interesting at all. Sometimes it's weird. You know, if we talked about it a little bit before we went live, but it's like you look at Yota Tsuji, his was like super uninteresting. Do you know what I mean? Nothing really fucking happened on it. He was in England and he was just like just existing, you know. Whereas Yuya, whereas Yuya, it's like he had like a weird one, you know. He's been paired with Joe Hendry. He's he's dancing, and he's not as locked in with his in-ring work. He's not as snug. His fundamentals are kind of all over the place, and it's like, you know, it's like what's going on? Like, and I get how it can be kind of like jarring to see that for most fans, but it's kind of like based off what I saw of him early on, it was like I never kind of worried because it was like he was fundamentally good. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of it weren't just like, oh well, you know, this match has been agented well. It weren't anything like that. It's just like this is just someone who's going to be very good at professional wrestling, and you know, I weren't as loud and proud as Ibu. Like I said to him earlier as well, it's like he was the one taking all the bullets and all the bullets on the timeline when Joya was a thing and all this.
Oh
and
my
that.
God!
To see him come back and kind of pick up where myself thought he would be is it's really encouraging to see, especially in this version of New Japan where they need someone like Yuya to really come through, you know. He's just showing the real again, like again, just super really fundamentally sound. He knows, and he's very intelligent at just working as a babyface, working from underneath, structuring his matches in a way that they mean something when you get to the closing stretch.
The escalation,
escalation. He's again not just fundamentals, but just like he's not super flashy or anything, bro. Like he's just good professional wrestler, you know, whether it's his arm drags or whatever it is, you know. The Puro Steamboat, you know, he's a beast. Yeah. He's really, really good, man.
I love how, like, when I watch a match and, like, right at the peak of my excitement watching Yuya, like, that's when the finish comes. Like, that's kind of like traditional Japanese wrestling. That's what I get when I watch Kento Miyahara, for example. And the thing with him is he's not a blow. Like, in an ideal world as a young ace, I'd like him to be a little bit more explosive athletically, personally, for my taste. But even without it, like, you know what I mean? Like, if he was like a little, you know, if he jumped higher on like the drop kick, and if he, you know what I mean, or and his pescado to the outside was like prettier, like it'd just be nice. But even without that, he's just so fundamentally sound, like you said. And I've been really happy with this showing. He had a great match again with Hirooki Goto in his fourth match, and I was really locked in. And I hope Yuya's sanity was going to continue. It did not. Goto beat him. He won, and that ended his run, his undefeated streak. There's a very good chance, Monty, that he does not succeed from this point on. There's a very good chance he's getting gatoed and he does not make it to the last few people and make the cut. Right. Gato could have, because again, New Japan booking. His Gato statement could have just been, I'm going to give him these big wins to let you know you as a player, keep an eye. He's somebody that's going to matter. And then once you get that message, okay, now fuck him. He's in a job to help these other guys in this tournament. Very much could happen. Hopefully it doesn't, though, because like he's been such a fun element of these tournaments. I mean, of these nights. And so I hope he stays in the mix. But there's a very good chance because of historical evidence that he does not. We'll see what happens. If he makes it out of his block, Monty, I'm going to be a shameless motherfucker. I'm going to be so shameless. I'm going to be very nasty. and you're not gonna like the man I'm gonna become. But that was your G1 coverage and your G1 catch up.
I want to say look one little thing.
What's up?
Takeshita, man.
Oh man, he's been
It's not even anything that no one said before, bro. But fuck, man, look, you see this guy in the ring, and he's a fucking stud, man. Like he's just an absolute unit, and he can move like a fucking lightweight. And I don't know, man. I just think that like if I'm AEW, he wouldn't even be in the G1, bro, because he would be like a main eventer by now. You know, like he's already beat Kenny Omega. They should have just continued that momentum, man, and just kept him beating these top players and him being this like, you know, this unstoppable fucking force on the roster, this young stud that's here to take over, kind of like I guess how you assume WWE is going to try and do with Bron Breakker. Like you assume he's going to beat Sammy at SummerSlam, and then you assume he's probably going to claim some pretty big scalps, you know. And I think Takeshita should be having like main event, no, not main event necessarily, but like featured high level matches against AEW's top stars on pay-per-views and winning them, you know. Because like, bro, he does the stare downs and stuff at the start of it. Like the Yuya match, I watched it just before we came on here, and it's like he's standing next to Yuya, and he's just like this genetic fucking beast, you know.
literally like LeBron James in 2007. Where
yeah,
you're like,
it's crazy.
like this dude
He's an animal.
He at his height to wrestle the way he does, and he's not even like, you know, like the flippy big man like a Dijak and Keith Lee, but he's also not like he's too big to be working. He's at a size where people his size don't wrestle like that. They wrestle like he's slightly taller than Randy Orton, and he's bigger and broader. It's just,
I think physically, I like the Randy Orton thing because it is like similar to that, where it's like he's big, but he's also super athletic. But it's like, bro, if you could build a wrestler in a fucking lab, like literally what people used to say about Orton, if you could build a wrestler in the lab in the 2020s, it would be something like a Takeshita, you know?
He's a fucking mutant.
Just dynamic, quick, powerful, good looking. Like he's just a fucking animal, bro. Like push him, like he should be a priority in AEW, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to come back. I hope he really, really, really finally connects, because I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And athletically, I think he is the best athlete in pro wrestling at this point. I think I'm ready to kind of go in that direction with him. So,
who his competitors, man? Because a few years ago, it was like Ibushi was like up there, but his body fell apart. His body like fell apart, unfortunately.
Late 2010s Ibushi made no sense because he had the athleticism of like early 2010s Ibushi, but he also got like physically chiseled, like a
really powerful as well. Like
he was,
even though
like 2019 Ibushi, you were like, what the fuck is?
What about Osprey?
So
Osprey's got some springs in him on him, man.
But when I think best athletes in wrestling, I think Osprey, I think Takeshita. I gotta bring up the vertical leap of a guy like Javon Evans, who it's like he is just blow away when it comes to that type of stuff. The springboard moves.
Drew's a hell of an athlete.
You gotta name some of the great luchadors that currently exist in pro wrestling. Like Mascara Dorada is a hell of an athlete. Templaria is a hell of an athlete. Frey Phoenix is still a blowaway athlete. You know, guys like that. But Takeshita has like the explosiveness. You know what I mean? It's like.
I think you're probably right. I'm just trying to think who the other names are in the conversation. Because I think it's got to be the combination of the power and the speed. You know, it's like, yeah, you can say you're Javon Evans and like a lot of the luchadors you mentioned, but it's like
Bron Breakker's a freak.
Yeah, they're great athletes until you compare them to someone like Takeshita. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like he can do a lot of the stuff they can do, and he can also pick up a 300-pounder. And do you know what I mean? Like, Bron Breakker's a freak. Bron Breakker is a freak. Runs in the family. Happy birthday, Scott Steiner.
Insane.
Know, Claudio's power and stamina. Like he's not as quick as a Takeshita, bro. Like he's just
it's really
Overfem is raw power. It is Takeshita. I think I'm with you on that one. I think I'm comfortable to say Takeshita's the best all-round athlete in wrestling. A freak.
Yeah. He's a freak. He's a freak. I'm looking forward to continuing to watch him.
It was Gable Steveson, the piece of shit.
Fuck him.
Because he's like, if we're talking just streak athlete, he's, you know, we've heard Dave talk about him. I ain't gonna do that shit, but like, you know, but yeah, that piece of shit's out of it now. So,
yeah,
can we
man.
do some quick super chats here, bro?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's go through the super chats here.
Rusho 6279, appreciate you. The segment with Little Jay Brisco was amazing. Been a couple of them. The one after he beat Roddy and he was sitting with him, then there was the segment on Collision where he was announced as the newest member of the conglomeration. Yeah, man, shout out Lil J. Dunno 499 weekly Mortos praise super chat. That Tilt-A-Whirl Rana hologram does moves me. Need that hologram versus Ricochet at All In graphic, please. I think that's what they're building to with him.
You know what, Monty?
Don't you, Bill?
When people were saying that, I was like, fuck off. Like, stop being nerds. And then now I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a fucking
I think that's what they're building to.
Yeah. Please hologram, get better gear for Wembley. But I'm into it. I'm into it. Do it. Just fucking. You could have a thing where it's like hologram has quickly ascended to being the greatest athlete AEW has ever seen. Oh my god, he can do all these amazing things. Who could top him? Open challenge at Wembley. Hologram versus somebody. You know what I mean? And then that's like, boom, Ricochet comes in and you're like, oh shit, and they're gonna have all their fucking flippy standoffs and Power Ranger sequences, and they're gonna blow away that Wembley crowd. I'd make that the opener. Make it the opener. Give them 13 minutes. 13 minutes of white hot Wembley crowd. They do some unbelievable shit. And then you go from there and then you kind of start doing like the tags and shit like that.
Anjan, $2. Will Ibu apologize for Panther slander after Friday?
No, because I expected him to have that performance. Do you watch the Death Triangle CMLL match, Monty?
I saw it in not even clips. It's like, you know, when you got something on and you look at your phone, but you're like watching it, and it's like you're watching it, but you're not watching it. You know,
it's so sick because it's not like a great match in my opinion, but like it was so traditional lucha. It felt like a 1994.
I can imagine.
It felt like a 1994 AAA main event, like where it's like there's like just bursts of cool sequences, but it's also like the pacing and structure is like kind of disjointed, but in that very like classical lucha way. And the heat is hilarious, and they're pulling them out around the ring to fucking beat them up and shit. And then in the closing stretch, like as it's starting to peak a little bit, the heels just kind of get a cop out finish, and you get a DQ because Pac just decides, fuck all of this, and he just low blows everybody, and then rips out Dorada's mask. And it's a DQ, and that's the finish. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So either we're running this back, or Mystico was like, well, brother, I don't job. And Death Triangle were like, well, we're not going to job either. And they said, all right, fuck it, DQ. So I'm fine with either one there. I think Death Triangle are probably going to win the trios belts at Wembley. But after that, I'd like to see this match get run back. So I had a lot of fun with it. And Pentagon as a heel in Mexico is awesome. The aura is great. He stands off face to face with Mystico. He was in his house. He looked good.
Yeah, man. Corey David, $2. Obafemi hijack. He's the future. Creed's our beast. I agree, brother. I agree.
Yep.
Sonchanko, 35. For your sakes, Montel, I hope Oba has a great year because Chelsea are going to be in the mud again. Lol. Haramball FC. Hashtag come on, you Gunners. I mean, you know what it is, brother? I'm saying this is what I don't like about these modern fans in all sports, bro. So back in the day, who give a fuck about friendlies, And now, yesterday, Chelsea lost heavily to a very average team in a friendly, and I'm seeing a dire discourse about it, and it's like, bro, no one gives a fuck about friendly. Come on, man. Is football Twitter got to the point where we analyze fucking friendly games now? Stop.
Is that the equivalent of a preseason game?
It's exactly that is exactly what it is. Yeah. Preseason friendly.
Analyzing preseason stupid.
Yeah, it's like half of your best players don't play. The manager tries things out and weird shit, it's just
you're just assessing what you have in some places and testing out things. So yeah.
And that's sorting to $5. Appreciate it. If Finn and Gunther is some mid bullshit on my birthday, I'm gonna be in Hunter's house. I swear to God. Well, happy birthday, Anna. And come on, bro. Gunther, Finn. That's
Well,
bro. You could
also
give them 5 minutes. Like you could give them 5 minutes, and it would be real as fuck. Like
the thing is, Monty, what's going to hold them back? Not them. It's like how much time it gets. Now it's like if it's a 2-segment, 12-minute match, it's not gonna be what you want it to be. If they get 15, you might get some real shit. 15 and plus.
I think you'll get real shit anyway because I think they'll get time because it's not like it's a match that Finn's been asking for a while, so it's like to finally give it him to just like do some like bullshit with it, you know. I think they'll let him go basically, but we'll see. Broadway Joe, $5. The standard of athlete for pro wrestling is historically so cheap. Pat McAfee is probably a better athlete than 99 of wrestlers ever. I mean, 99 of wrestlers ever. I mean, yeah. If you're talking athletically, it's because it's all about how you look, isn't it? Not kind of how much. Obviously, you need to move. Do you know what I mean? But not at the level of like pro sports athletes. Like Pat McAfee was in the NFL, bro. Like it's not like he's some. I know he was only a fucking punter, but like, you know, like he was in the NFL, bro. Like, come on. That's not exactly anything to be ashamed of. Mid takes $4.99. Is Mr. Montel Team Angle or Team AJ? Also, was Cena beating Gunther thing seriously? But I'm Team AJ. I actually don't think it's much of a comparison, to be honest. But we're not going to open that kind of worms. Ibu?
No, it was just something I threw out. I don't know the world heavyweight title direction. I just kind of tossed that thing out as a possibility. I'm not tapped in on what.
I don't even know what he's referring to, so that's why I just kind of threw it to you.
Name the next 3 world heavyweight champions, and I said Gunther.
Oh,
Cena.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. And as sorting $2, Jesse Ventura on Raw to endorse Tim Waltz for vice president. Yeah, Jesse Ventura is in the building. Triple H posted a video linking up with him.
Yes.
What's going on over there, River?
I don't know, but bringing
what's
back
going on in that country of yours, brother?
I don't know, but Jesse Ventura being back on WWF television is pretty staggering. This would not have happened if Vince was.
He did say on a podcast that he was in some sort of talks with him, so
Good
wild guy, bro.
They should take. You know what they should do? They should put him on commentary for Gunther versus Finn Balor and just see what happens.
No,
they're kicking the crap out of each other, McAfee.
Yeah, there's funnier matches to put him on call for, but Ibu.
Yes.
SummerSlam, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, people think Roman's
is he coming back? What's the crack? What have you heard? What's the deal?
Yeah, he'll be back at SummerSlam. It's like pretty obvious. WWE are doing the AEW thing where they want you to know that he's coming back without overtly saying it because they want to get that last little push of tickets. So that's why they made the push. That's why they made the vignette, I should say, on SmackDown on the tape show. If you remember where Solo's calling him out and he basically said, "Well, if you want to see me, you know where to find me." Roman Reigns will be in Cleveland, Ohio this weekend, so you can look forward to that. The question is not if Roman will be there. The question is how will this be executed? Is Cody going to lose the world title to Solo Sikoa? Is this match going to a DQ? Is Cody going to retain and then you get a bloodline attack and then Roman Reigns comes out and Roman Reigns will be challenging a Solo Sikoa that's already been pinned? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be executed, but that's something to look forward to if you're locked in on that. I kind of made some suggestions last week that Roman may be making some boss calls lately, which is true. He's been in contact with WWE like consistently now for a few weeks. Just kind of keeping updated and the things he'd like to see when he'd get back there.
Making sure they're setting the table nice for him, you know.
Correct. He had his long vacation where he didn't pay attention, and then the last month has been like, all right, so what are we gonna do? And they've been figuring that whole thing out. A few weeks ago, there was some talks that they were gonna maybe bring him back on a TV on a SmackDown. But it looks like it's going to be SummerSlam now. They decided to end up doing the Bloodline versus Gargano and Ciampa on SmackDown. That there was a stage in the game when that was going to be a Street Profits match, and that might have made SummerSlam. Now it's like obviously as we see, it's Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga versus DIY. I don't know if that match is a finish. DIY is losing the belt. The question is, the question is, like, are they just lose it or huh?
If it hasn't finished, like the bloodline could easily be cost the belts. Like that's
So
something
that's the
that
thing.
could
Like,
definitely happen. I think.
I saw some fans speculating, like, what if Jey Uso? I mean, not Jey. What if Jimmy Uso like screws them or whatever? So we'll see what ends up happening there. But yeah, regarding Roman Reigns, like, you can expect him at SummerSlam, and the card is pretty much set at this point. It's a 7-match card. Dave Meltzer ended up being completely right about the lineup, Monty. Like, Dave has been having a rough spring when it comes to like scoops and accuracy in certain places. And so when he tweeted out when he was talking about like what the SummerSlam lineup is, and he was saying like, oh, no Dragunov in the Braun match, people were like, yeah, whatever, Dave. But no, he was right. And with the Seth Rollins thing, like, he was also right about the special guest referee. So 7-match card. I'm pretty sure it's all title matches except CM Punk's match, which is like a grudge match. They're gonna do a live angle tonight with the Rollins deal, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's one of those cards that like the matches don't look that good to me in some places, but the Raw side has done a good job of making me want to see them because they built it well. If that makes any sense, like, it's a lot of matches that like don't jump off the page, but like the Raw ones are built well and the SmackDown ones are like whatever. And for this show to be like a very good to great show, a number of matches would have to really, really overachieve. And with law of averages, maybe one or two will do that. It's unclear, and I'm unsure which matches those are going to be. But that's kind of my feel on the show so far.
Yeah, it's the build has had there's been some really good storytelling in the build and stuff, and hot TV and stuff like that, and you've got your hot angles going into it. But it's like after last year's SummerSlam, like I'm never going into pay-per-views with expectations anymore. But like the SummerSlam card last
That
year
one
on paper was
was
like great, and it ended up being like a pretty lame show, like.
Yeah.
So
that was probably the best Paul Levesque constructed card in his entire tenure.
And
Cody, Brock, Gunther, Drew, Jay and Roman had a hot issue going in. Like these matches, like going in, Ricochet and Logan Paul felt like it could be like an unbelievable spectacle. Like, that show looked great on paper, and it was not great. This show doesn't look great on paper, and we'll see what the fuck happens. But yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
I don't know if you could say. I mean, it doesn't look a great show on paper. Like I said, it's like they've got the hot stories though, which is like, I don't know. Again, it's like I don't want to get fired up about it. It's like, yeah, SummerSlam 2023.
Liv Morgan,
Brock versus Cody. That wasn't their best one. Ricochet, Logan, like you said.
It was fine, but like you wanted that to be like amazing,
Yeah, you wanted it to be like, oh my god, like, because like that. I don't that we spoke about this before, but that Brock Cody feud was weird, because it was like across 3 matches. He they had the ingredients to have one epic match, but they did it across 3 matches. Oh, bro, they did that SummerSlam Battle Royale bullshit. Fucking hell.
That was awesome though. The SummerSlam that's fucking real.
Shayna versus Ronda, Gunther versus Drew underdelivered. Seth versus Finn was alright, if I remember correctly.
It was good.
Asuka, Charlotte, Bianca.
Monty, what the actual problem is? The show was long as fuck, and it felt long, and the crowd wasn't great.
Yeah, and also the main event fucking sucked. Like,
it was horrendous,
and it really, really needed to like not be, for the sake of a few things. But it is genuinely a shame that like Jay is so popular, and he's had such a good past couple of years with like his ascension to the top and being the right hand man, to being the guy that first pinned Roman, to being just this single star now. But it's such a shame that literally like the 2 biggest, not the 2 biggest, but like 2 of the 5 biggest matches of his career were like absolute stinkers against Roman and Jimmy. Like,
yeah. Jey Uso has not delivered big spots. He has not delivered.
No, but like as a tag wrestler though, main event of Mania.
So that's what I'm trying to say, Monty. He has repeatedly shown you what he is and what his strengths are, and yet people keep trying to insist that he's other than that. Like, it's very clear he's over. He's very like, people love to see him. They love to do the routine. The entrance is hot. He's a good tag wrestler. We just saw it last week on Raw. Him and Sammy works. But then when people try to overshoot it and make him like a singles pushed wrestler, it doesn't work. It really just doesn't work. His match with Damian Priest was like, at best, like, all right, you know, and that's probably his best singles pay-per-view performance in the last year and a half. His match with Roman was terrible. His match with Jimmy was somehow worse. So like, I remember when people were trying to rationalize him winning the Money in the Bank, like, that didn't make any sense to me. That shouldn't be what Jey Uso should be the beloved sidekick complimentary piece to like a group story, a storyline where he can be in tag matches, so on and so forth. So that's kind of where I'm at with Jay.
A quick super chat and we'll roll out of it. Legend Rider $2. What's Roman's schedule going to be post return?
I don't know.
He's going to be chilling, bro.
I really do. He'll be around.
To say Rose $2, Jay might just be a tag wrestler. It is what it is. I mean, it's tough, much, isn't it? Because he's so popular as a singles at the moment. Like, that's kind of where it's like tough, I think. But I agree, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird one. Broadway Joe $2. Predict the wildest thing to happen in the rest of 2024.
A surprise departure, either from AEW or WWE. I feel like someone's gonna.
You have to be specific. You gotta say who it is, bro. Like, you can't just be like,
oh. Someone's gonna be that where you're gonna be like, really? You're gonna be like, really, him? You know, like, I don't even know. This is not even like based on anything. So I'm not even like, before people go like, oh, it's Ricky, oh, it's Wardlow, oh, it's Daniel Garcia. No, I'm thinking like a weird one, like Ray Phoenix or some shit. Like, just a weird ass departure that like doesn't even like make sense to your brain. I just feel like one of those is gonna get cooked up. We'll see who it's gonna be. The Rock Morgan. I think I actually expect that. I think that's gonna happen.
I don't think that would be that. It would be wild though, because it's The Rock. Like, to be fair, even though it wouldn't be like that surprising per se, like, it would be like wild, like fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson in a fucking cage. You know what I mean? But you know, more one. I've got a bit of a wild prediction, but it's like it's not really positive, so I'm not going to say it. Final Boss 199. The real number one returns this week. Can't wait. And that one we already read. All right, we're going to get out of here. Ibu, you want to wrap us up or sure?
Yeah, I'll do it. Listen, guys, tomorrow we'll do the Raw review. It'll be me and Rob, and we'll see if Isra can join. But yeah, we'll be talking about a wrestling heavy show that, you know, I love a wrestling heavy show, but this is a wrestling heavy show that has Carlito minutes. So we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully Finn Balor's match is great. Hopefully the CM Punk angle is great. We'll talk about it and keep you guys posted on that. Other than that, I mean, I'll be on Twitter live tweeting Raw when I get a chance. And yeah, other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Is this an additional super chat last second?
Yeah, Black Yakuza 90 for $5. Roman isn't going to do a pay-per-view until November. Bash is in Germany, and he'd love to play second fiddle to Cody at Bad Blood. I mean,
we'll see. Roman gets what he wants. He gets what he fucking wants. And what I want to do is close the show because my phone is overheating and dying. So before we crash out, take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Peace.